Welcome to this module on working with pages and regions. In this video, we will see how to create pages and explore the page components. My name is Apurva and I'm a Senior Product Manager for Oracle Apex. Let's get started. This lesson introduces you to the Page Designer. We will further have a detailed discussion about the Page Designer user interface elements. You also gain an understanding about the application page components. Finally, you will learn how to create a page in an application.
After creating a page, you need to navigate to the page definition to view, modify, and create components on the page. You use the Page Designer to maintain and enhance pages within an Oracle Apex application. Page Designer is a fully featured integrated development environment that includes a toolbar and multiple panes. So to view the page definition in the Page Designer, you need to go to your workspace homepage and click on the App Builder icon. Then when you select the application in step 1, you then select a page you want to edit in your application in step 2. In step 3, you can see that the Page Designer appears. You preview a page by running it. Running an application page displays the rendered version as end users would see it. Developers can view and edit application pages in the Page Designer. Page Designer is a fully featured IDE that includes a toolbar and multiple panes. There are 3 main panes within the Page Designer: a left pane, a central pane, and a right pane. You select a component in the left or the central pane and then edit the component's attributes in the property editor located in the right pane. The left pane includes tabs for rendering, dynamic actions, processing, and shared components. Each tab displays a list of corresponding component types and components created on the current page. The central pane includes tabs for layout, messages, page search, and help. The right pane displays the property editor. Use the property editor to configure or update attributes for the selected components. Now, I'm going to switch back to my Apex workspace and demonstrate the capabilities of Page Designer. On the screen, you can see that I have opened the Page Designer for a particular page in a sample application. Let us begin with understanding the Page Designer toolbar. The Page Designer toolbar is displayed at the top of the page and contains both buttons and menu options. Hover your cursor over an active button to display a tooltip. The page selector displays the current page. Click the down arrow to display the page finder and search for pages or enter a page number in the search field and click on Go. Note, a warning icon appears next to the page selector when there are errors in the page. You will learn more about the error messages in the later lessons. The next is the page lock and unlock. This indicates whether a page is locked or unlocked. Unlocked pages are editable and locked pages are not. The padlock icon indicates the status. The next is the undo change. This reverts the previous update you made within the Page Designer. It applies to actions that result in a change to the page data. Redo change. Reapply for the last update that was undone using the undo changes. Applies to actions that result in a change to the page data. Next is the Create. The Create menu features a graphical plus sign. Clicking the Create menu displays options to create a page, create a new page as a copy, create a breadcrumb region, shared component, a page group, develop a comment, or an issue. The Utilities menu is denoted by a graphic of a wrench. The options include to delete a page, open the advisor, caching, history of the page, checksum, export, show, tooltips and layout view, and in layout, you can change the layout to 2-pane layout or reset the layout. The next is the Shared Components. Clicking on it will take you to the Shared Components page. Save will save the changes made to the page. Save and Run button will save the changes you made and run the page. Now let's switch back to the left pane. The left pane in the Page Designer includes 4 tabs: Rendering, Dynamic Actions, Processing, and Page Shared Components. Each tab displays a list of corresponding component types and components created on the current page. The Rendering tab displays the regions, page items, page buttons, page components, and application logic. The Dynamic Actions tab displays the dynamic actions defined on this page. Currently, this page has no dynamic actions, but by creating a dynamic action, you can define complex client-side behavior declaratively without the need for JavaScript. You will learn more about dynamic actions later in this course. The Processing tab displays the application logic defined on this page. The Shared Components tab displays the shared components associated with this page. The key features of the left pane include the context menus. You can right-click on a component or Control to display a contextual menu. Quick access to the property editor. Select a component or multiple components to display the corresponding attributes in the property editor in the right pane. Drag and drop. You can drag components up and down within the tree region to change the position or sequence of the selected component. The rendering and processing trees are grouped and ordered based on how Oracle Apex processes them. The dynamic actions and the shared component trees are grouped by event or component type and ordered by sequence. The central pane. The central pane in the Page Designer consists of 5 sections. First is the Layout tab. It displays a visual representation of the page regions, items, and buttons that define a page. Messages displays the errors and warnings you need to address. Clicking a message changes the focus within the property editor, the corresponding attribute associated with the error or warning. Page search allows you to search for the page metadata, including regions, items, buttons, dynamic actions, columns, and so on. Help displays attribute-specific help. Click the attribute name within the property editor to view the information and examples. At the bottom of the Layout tab, you can find the Gallery pane. The Gallery pane displays at the bottom of the Layout tab and contains 3 tabs: Regions, Items, and Buttons. A region is an area of the page that serves as a container for content. Buttons and items are components that you can add to regions that allow the end user to interact with the page. You can add new controls and components, regions, items, and buttons to a page by selecting them in the gallery and dragging them and dropping them in the Layout tab. The Layout tab, as we discussed earlier, is a visual representation of how the components are positioned on the page. The Layout tab features context menus. By selecting a component and right-clicking, you can delete, move, or copy the component to other regions or new regions on the page. You can also move existing regions, items, and buttons relative to other components by simply clicking the component and dragging it to a new location. For example, you can place items next to another by dragging the second item to the end of the first item and dropping it in the dark yellow box that appears when you hover the cursor in the desired location. When dragging components to a new position, such as dragging an item onto the same line as an existing item, you need to drag the component into the desired position and wait until the grid changes and the new drop position is displayed. You can adjust the size of each pane by selecting and dragging the horizontal and vertical splitters. To expand or collapse each pane, click the small triangle labeled Collapse in the center of each splitter. Alternatively, you can click the Expand button to make the Layout tab larger and then restore to return it to the previous size. The Layout menu is displayed on the right side of the pane. You can use this menu to customize the type and amount of information that is displayed. To have a specific region fill the Layout tab, select the region and then select Display from here from the Layout menu. The selected region fills the Layout tab. To restore the view, select Display from page. Note that hidden items are not displayed in Layout but are displayed in the rendering tree. The right pane in the Page Designer contains the Property Editor. The Property Editor displays all attributes for the current component. As you select different components in either the left pane or the Layout tab, the Property Editor automatically updates to display attributes for the selected component. When you select multiple components, the Property Editor only displays the common attributes. Updating a common attribute updates the corresponding attribute for all the selected components. Since the component was updated and I do not need it to be a select list, I'm going to change it back to a text field. The property editor organizes the attributes into functional groups like identification, label, settings. To quickly access a group, you can click on Go to Group and select the group. To return to the default display, click on Go to Group again and select Expand All. To search for a group or an attribute, enter a keyword in the Filter Properties field. The groups and the attributes containing the keyword will appear. To return to the default display, delete the keyword in the Filter Properties field. To search for the keywords across all the items, regions, and processes, click the Pin Filter button on the right side of the search field. When activated, the search term that you entered remains persistent as you click around in the page designer. Click the Pin filter again to disable it. For attributes requiring large amounts of code, for example a region source, you can enter the code directly into the region or the item component settings using the code editor. Click the code editor icon to enter text in a fully featured code editor. A code editor displays as a modal dialog. You can use the code editor to edit attributes requiring a large amount of code. The code editor provides an enhanced editor to edit PL SQL, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript component properties. The code highlighting is determined by the input required for the specific property. The key features of the code editor include undo, redo, find, query builder, autocomplete, and validate. The settings menu located on the right side offers additional options including tab insert spaces, tab size, indent size, themes, show line numbers, show ruler, show suggestions, and show white spaces. As a developer, you add content to a page by creating a region. As we discussed earlier, a region is an area of a page that serves as a container for content. Each region contains a different type of content such as HTML, a report, a form, a chart, a list, breadcrumb, PL SQL, a tree, URL, or a calendar. You position a region either relative to other regions, that is based on its sequence, number, and column, or by using a region position defined in the page template. The style of the region is also controlled by the region template. Like the page template, the region template defines the structure of the area that the region takes up on the page. It defines if the region title is displayed and where it is displayed relative to the main content of the body. A region can also define absolute positions for buttons. To create a new region, in the page designer, right-click on the content body and select Create Region. In the right pane, you can give a name to your region and select the type of region that you want to create. Make the changes and finally click on the Save button. Another interesting point to note in the gallery region is that there are two ways of adding the components into the page. You can either select a component and drag and drop it into the layout region, or you can select a component in the gallery and right-click to use a context-sensitive menu. Here on the screen, you can see that a new region was created. I added a checkbox item to this newly created region. You will learn more about the items later in this course.
To summarize, in this lesson, you learned how to create a page in an Apex application. You also learned about the various page types and its components. I hope you learned something useful. Thank you for watching.